Listening to Viva ENT. We're live at KKNW, our new radio station. Viva Entertainment you're listening to. I'm in the studio here with my co-host, Becca Page.
That's me. I'm here. How you doing, Johnny?
Becca, isn't this nice?
Yeah.
We have a view of something. What is it? What's the view of that there, right there?
That would be Seattle. And
That's Seattle?
you see a little Space Needle right there?
Oh, my gosh. This is pretty cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Viva Entertainment. And for our new listeners out there that are listening to us today, we are an entertainment show, and we also weigh heavily into weddings. Isn't that right, Miss Page?
That's correct.
As a matter of fact, I would say we are experts in the wedding business.
Well, that is what we do for a living.
That is correct. Today's guests are going to be Cindy from Scooter's Catering.
Scooter's Custom Catering.
Thank you so much. And, of course, Brad Buckles, owner of the Wedding Expo.
And bridesclub.com.
And bridesclub.com. So we are going to talk weddings today. And in the last segment on the show today, we are going to feature what we call Weddings with Becca.
We are.
We are.
I sure hope so.
And listen to Weddings with Becca. What is the topic today?
Well, we are going to have a topic that pertains to everybody listening, not just brides or people who are planning weddings. And that topic is guest etiquette at weddings.
Guest etiquette at weddings meaning how to behave.
How to behave, what to do, how to respond to RSVPs, just things that most people who aren't in our industry are completely clueless about.
So in other words, a lot of people show up to weddings and they get a little mixed up, dressed inappropriately, and can often be a pain in the yin-yang.
Yep. Just everything. I have a list of things we're going to discuss, but that's for that segment, so we're not going to discuss it right now.
Okay, so it's going to be, you're going to spring it on as going to be like a special surprise.
Okay, or like a segment.
A segment. We're going to have a segment. Etiquette today is the topic with Weddings with Becca. So also every week for you listeners out there, use people, use all that are our first-time listeners to Viva Entertainment, we feature a little segment on the King every single week.
Now, which king are you talking about?
We're talking about the only King.
The one and only King?
The King of Rock, baby. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to feature Elvis's first smash. Well, not first smash, but his first, I would call, what would you call this record? It was like more than a smash, but a big smash.
An explosion of the senses?
I think that the record, along
the ultimate jam of all the jams?
I think the record, along with the flip side, I won't tell you what the flip side is right now, but the record really catapulted Mr. Elvis Presley on the top of the entertainment scene in 1956. We're going to play Don't Be Cruel.
Yay.
Which was the number one song of 1956.
It has a very good reason to be the number one song of 1956. It's pretty much the only song that came out in 1956 that sounded like it. Right?
No, they all sounded like that after a while. Especially in 56. Yeah, Too Much, Don't Be Cruel, Teddy Bear, they all, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Other than Elvis's songs is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Like what else was on the radio at that time that was similar?
Well, all the early rock and roll hits, Jerry Lee Lewis wasn't out at the time, but Fats Domino, Little Richard, Tutti Frutti, Blue Suede Shoes, Carl Perkins. And
all in 1956?
All in 1956.
All on the charts at the same time?
Pretty much.
I'll be darned.
And we're going to feature Cheap Trick's version of Don't Be Cruel, which was a pretty big hit. And we were just listening to the Judge version on the way in today, which was a pretty cool version.
With the Jordanaires.
With the Jordanaires, that's right, that's right. And that was a pretty big country record. I think it went to number 12 on the country charts.
10, I believe.
10? Number 10?
And Cheap Trick went to number 4 on the Billboard Top 100.
Wow, you're a fountain of knowledge today.
What I am.
Yes, you are.
I tend to be.
So, folks, we're going to feature the King shortly. We got a lot of talk about weddings. We're going to have 2 call-in guests today. And we're Viva Entertainment, and our we have a company called Viva Productions, Vegas Nights, and Elite Limousine. So we are in the entertainment business, and we
throw parties for a living.
That's correct. We provide entertainment for corporate parties, weddings, school dances, the whole 9 yards.
Private events.
And we're going to help our listeners with all those things. We're going to help them with weddings. Mm-hmm. If you're an event planner out there and you work for Microsoft or you work for Boeing or Amazon, and you got put in charge of planning your company party, our show is the show to listen to because we're going to help you.
We're going to help them.
We're going to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they can call us anytime if they have any questions on planning anything.
Yeah, and not only do we have a great view here today, we have Eric Ryder, our producer, in the studio. Say hi, Eric.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Alternative Talk 1150. We're glad to have you here.
Listen to that radio
I know,
voice,
I was going to say, wow, he deserves to be on the radio. That's pretty fantastic.
That's pretty good, man. Yeah. So, it's nice to have the producer in the studio. The station we were at before, which was a great station, the producer was in another room.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So we get a little mixed up in the studio sometimes. So we're going to go ahead and feature Coffee with the King. And I have my coffee. Becca has her coffee. And we're going to play Don't Be Cruel first.
By Evis.
Yeah. Are you ready, producer?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, baby, it's still you I'm thinking of.
The number one record, 1956, it stayed on the charts for 11 weeks. And the flip side was Hound Dog. Now, that's one of the biggest records of all time. Actually, it's probably the biggest rock and roll record of all time because of the fact it was number one for 11 weeks, more than any other rock record in history, actually. So, we're going to...
Wait.
Go ahead.
Which did better, Hound Dog or Don't Be Cruel?
Well, that's a good question, but it was probably equal. So, in other words, what happened was Don't Be Cruel was number one for 6 weeks, and then Hound Dog was number one for 5 weeks, or vice versa, or something like that. So we'd have to look up on the Billboard statistic thing, but it was definitely something like that.
So how often does it happen when the B side gets bigger than the A side?
Well, that happens quite often, especially with the Elvis and the Beatles, because they'd have an A side and a B side, and during Elvis's career and the Beatles' career, it's probably the only time that a particular artist had the luxury of, wow, which side's going to be the bigger hit? That's
so
pretty interesting.
Why wouldn't they try to space them out and put both of them on A sides and put different other songs on B sides if they had anticipated that they were both going to be a big hit? Then they could sell twice as many, wouldn't they?
Well, that's a real good comment, and I'll tell you what, both artists in their peak, Elvis 56, 57, 58, Beatles 64, 65, 66, and actually the Beatles were peak throughout their whole career. It was the quality of the music was so good that it was like, they couldn't really tell. Yeah, absolutely. Because Elvis had more double-sided hits than any other artist in history, and the Beatles are probably second, I'm sure.
Okay, well, let's move on to the Cheap Trick.
Cheap Trick, baby.
Cheap Trick song.
Okay, there you go. That's the Cheap Trick version. It peaked at number 4, 1988. Is that correct?
His voice is so good in that.
Yeah, I like it. I got, I think it was a great cover of a song that was almost impossible to cover, if you ask me. What do you think on that one, Eric?
I liked it.
Yeah, I like both. Mm-hmm.
Very catchy.
Very catchy. Yeah, I like the way they did the little snare thing.
Yeah, that's what tends to make songs
Don't be cruel.
Popular, is they're catchy.
Very catchy. Very catchy.
Tell you what. Okay, sorry.
So much insight right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
We have to go. Is it time for commercial break?
Yeah, we can take a little commercial break. If we have to, we do have sponsors, and we should recognize them. What do you think?
Probably.
Absolutely.
All right, here you go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Viva ENT. I'm here with my co-host, Becca Page. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Thank you, sir.
Brides, do you want your big day to be stress-free, perfect, and stay within your budget? Well, Brides Club has all the inside information to make your dream a reality. Go to bridesclub.com. That's bridesclub.com. See upcoming bridal shows and events, view wedding vendors and special offers. And don't miss The Spotlight, the premier online wedding magazine with valuable articles you can't afford to miss. Brides Club helps make your wedding stress-free and perfect. Go to bridesclub.com. Check out bridesclub.com. Attention business owners. Experience a new world of business with barter. The Saturn Barter Company, located in Tacoma, is one of the most beneficial business decisions you can make. Using Saturn Barter, you are able to sell your products or services to other members of the exchange. You can then use that credit you've built up from your sales to purchase the products or services you or your company needs from other companies within Saturn Barter, all without the use of cash. Contact and join Saturn Barter Club today, 253-212-9930, or online at saturnbarter.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Johnny from Viva Productions. I want to tell you a little bit about Elite Limousine. Right now, we have prom specials. For 10-passenger stretch limousines, only $90 an hour. That's right, $90 an hour with a 4-hour minimum. 206-542-5733. Go to viva-productions.com for pricing. This is Johnny the Gangster with Viva Productions, King of Entertainment. One-stop shop for all your entertainment needs. We have DJ service for weddings, corporate, and private events. Thrill your guests with Vegas Nights Casino Party, blackjack, craps, roulette, poker, and more. We also have event photography and limousine service. Call Viva Productions, 206-542-5733, or find us at viva-productions.com. A little less conversation, a little more action, you got it. Call Johnny the Gangster. I'll make you a deal you can't refuse.
Brides, do you want your big day to be stress-free, perfect, and stay within your budget? Well, Brides Club has all the inside information to make your dream a reality. Go to bridesclub.com. That's bridesclub.com. See upcoming bridal shows and events, view wedding vendors and special offers. And don't miss The Spotlight, the premier online wedding magazine with valuable articles you can't afford to miss. Brides Club helps make your wedding stress-free and perfect. Go to bridesclub.com. Check out bridesclub.com. Attention business owners. Experience a new world of business with barter. The Saturn Barter Company, located in Tacoma, is one of the most beneficial business decisions you can make. Using Saturn Barter, you are able to sell your products or services to other members of the exchange. You can then use that credit you've built up from your sales to purchase the products or services you or your company needs from other companies within Saturn Barter, all without the use of cash. Contact and join Saturn Barter Club today, 253-212-9930, or online at saturnbarter.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Johnny from Viva Productions. I want to tell you a little bit about Vegas Nights. Forget about Vegas. I brought casino tables to the Emerald City. Craps, blackjack, roulette, poker. If you're planning a private party, corporate party, senior grad party, any kind of party, you want casino tables, you call 206-542-5733. Vegas Nights, that's right. Shake, rattle, and roll.
Open your ears, open your heart, open your mind. Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Viva ENT. I'm here in the studio with Becca Page, and we have Cindy from Scooters Custom Catering on the line. Cindy, say hi.
Yes. Hi, how's everyone today?
Marvelous and wonderful.
Good.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your new gig there.
Yeah, it's, we did 92 shows at KLEY. And, we were going down to the Tacoma area a lot on Saturdays, and then it kind of switched a little bit. So, our main office is in Shoreline, so it just made sense to try to get more centrally located.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. You both sound great on the radio.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah,
We'll have to have you inside the studio sometime because we know you'll bring us food.
I know. I'll come bearing gifts on a platter. Absolutely.
I want meatballs and...
Oh, see, I thought you'd want that black and penny pasta.
Ooh.
With the caramelized elephant green cream sauce.
I've never had that.
Oh, well, we just got to introduce you to that. There's no reason for you not to have that.
Oh, my goodness. Now I'm hungry. Thanks, Cindy. I've been dying for some Italian lately.
Oh.
Just dying. So we can tell everybody what you do. You and Mike and Scooter are the owners of Scooter's Custom Catering.
We are.
And you do big corporate events and private parties and weddings, and everything is customized to exactly what the client wants. You don't just throw a menu of salad, potatoes, and chicken at them and say, this is going to be $15 a person. It's all special.
People do ask us to do that. The thing is, we just don't have a button we can push. The only button we can push is Scooter. And because I tell, I kind of go through the process, and of course the most important thing is what their dreams were. What do they want? Now, sometimes their budget won't, isn't going to afford that. But the other hand, there's certainly another reason that we can't try to work around a little bit and get them a little something that they'd like. Everybody has a different budget, and that's really our niche, is trying to find something that they'll be proud to serve their guest within their budget without breaking the bank, but yet still, when their guests are walking away, they're still talking about it.
Quick question for you, Cindy. What is the most reasonable amount that you can produce a wedding or a private party for?
The average price that people...
Not average, but I'm thinking the most economical. Is it $25, $30 per person?
Oh, no, we can do something less than that, Johnny.
Like?
We can do something like a baked potato bar.
Baked potato bar?
Yeah.
Is that all you get, though?
Well, baked potatoes and all the toppings you could possibly ever think of. And usually Scooter will add grilled chicken or beef tips or something to it, and then maybe a salad, some rolls, and... sometimes he throws in soup, too. And that usually runs under $20, so we could do something like that for anywhere from $15 to $18.
That was the most popular thing when I was growing up in Idaho, and we'd have all our little church functions. And it was always the Idaho Spud bars. Always. You had stroganoff and Mexican taco toppings, and we'd always put the cheese, the butter, then the cheese, then the salt and pepper. And then you had to put the stroganoff, and then we'd end up putting like salad on it and more ranch. And by the time we got done, we had this monstrous pile of mush, and it was delicious every time.
Oh, I know. Well, that's good comfort food, too.
It is.
And the thing is, it doesn't break the bank. And you can pretty much do whatever you like to do. And the other thing is, if you have a salad, if you have the chicken toppings and you have the beef tips, you can make a salad out of that. If you choose not to have a baked potato, you're not into starches and things like that too. So there's something for everybody.
Sneaky,
kind of like a taco bar where everything is there and you can make whatever your heart desires. So. And that's kind of what I have to say is kind of economical. And it depends on the situation, too. We do a lot of fundraisers for schools, nonprofits. And so we try to work with the client and say, well, what's your ticket price? Because you want to get something out of that. If your ticket price is $50, well, you can't spend $40 per person just trying to feed them. So we kind of work with that, too.
Yeah. You really have to help and actually educate prospective clients, because they just don't know what they can get, for the dollar amount. And a lot of times they expect more than they can actually get. And sometimes people are on the other side of the fence, too.
Yeah, that is so true. And, Johnny, what a lot of brides tell me is they say, I don't know. I have no idea. Well, many times it's the first, it's the first time they've ever been married. Hopefully it'll be the last time they get, this is going to last a lifetime. So they don't have any experience. And all I can really tell them is this is probably one of the biggest parties you're going to throw when it comes to time for the 50th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
So this is it.
So when you have like a wedding, do you have like chicken, salmon, and then another entree, or is it 2 or 3 entrees with salad?
Yeah, we always recommend, because you kind of have to consider the guests, too. Some guests are going to require, we live in Washington, vegans, vegetarians, gluten-free. It's a big deal now. A lot of people found what makes them feel good, and they just don't want to mess with something that's going to ruin their evening or ruin their week, for that matter. So, we always suggest at least 2 proteins. And maybe it is chicken. Maybe if they do have a pretty good crowd of vegans and vegetarians, because they know their crowd better than anybody else.
Let me ask you a question, Cindy.
Sure.
Because my segment today that we're talking about is all about guest etiquette. And my question to you would be, if you get invited to a wedding and say you're vegan or gluten-free, and it just says you're invited to our wedding, please RSVP, and they don't ask you food choices, is it considered rude to contact the bride and say, well, yes, I'm coming to your wedding, but I'm vegan and gluten-free at the same time?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I tell a lot of brides that what's going to happen is when they send their save the dates or they send their invitation, many of their guests are going to share and say, and then I get this from a lot of brides. What happens is that their response is, "I'd love to come to your wedding. However, I require a gluten-free meal. Should I bring my own?"
Okay, so it's not rude to say something.
No,
like
I
that.
don't think so at all. No.
And then,
I think because it's quite honestly, and I always tell brides, when you get those kind of responses, call us and tell us. We have my aunt, my favorite aunt is coming, and she requires gluten-free. We'll find something for her.
Cool.
Whatever may be the gluten, somebody that's gluten-free or vegan or vegetarian, that may be their main dish, but it turns out to be a side dish for the rest of the guests.
but if they don't request that in advance, it would be considered rude to go to a wedding and then tell the staff, well, I need gluten. I just remember we were at a wedding together when that happened. You remember that?
Yeah,
and she had all those bizarre dietary restrictions, and it went on and on and on. And what you ended up giving her, it was hilarious.
I think we made her I think we made her a salad. I don't remember what it was, but I remember
like lettuce and lemons.
Yeah, exactly. Because
she couldn't eat anything.
She couldn't have anything. And I apologized to her, but I said, "Gee, if we had known in advance, we would have loved to have accommodate you better." But in the event, I remember it was lemons. I think.
It was.
And lemons.
It was hilarious.
And she kind of has to own that. Unfortunately, however, if she let somebody know ahead of time, we certainly would have been able to accommodate her.
Interesting.
But she was pretty gracious. I mean, it wasn't,
She wasn't a real pain, huh?
No, no.
Yeah.
We all know that there's clients like that.
We're pretty lucky. I think if you just listen and nod up and down, and
smile and nod.
Yep, smile and nod, and then just do the best you can. It's all you really can do. I think most people, if it's, I think they just want to be heard, and we're listening.
Now, when when you're preparing food for a wedding for, say, 100 people, how do you say they're having salad, 2 different kinds of pastas, and chicken breasts? Now, 100 people have RSVP'd. Do you cook exactly 100 chicken breasts? Do you cook 110? Like, how do you gauge that and monitor, like, if someone goes through and takes extra food? Like, how do you guys figure out that magic number of how much food to prepare?
We always probably try to do, we're always going to do at least 100 portions. But we ask those questions also, especially, we ask, are you feeding your DJ? Are you, your photographers? Who are all the people that are going to go through your line?
So basically,
and then we figure out the consumption. So if we have salmon and we have chicken, we know that a good portion, if not a half or even 3/4 of people, are going to try both. So you kind of have to figure. You have to have, maybe you'll have 100 portions of something, and you might only have 80 portions of another. But there still has to be a little bit of a leeway because somebody's going to come through the line. So I say, rule of thumb, about 10% more.
10% more.
Okay,
yeah.
so
about 10 more servings.
Okay, so if they just have chicken breasts, is it one chicken breast per person?
Ours are done a little differently because we portion it, so we usually have 2. Because what happens is, most of the time, if somebody asks us for a chicken breast, we put our jellies with it. So we know that they're going to probably have 2 chicken breasts. Because honestly, Johnny, for as good as the food looks, you can only hold so much.
Yeah.
You're going to have 6 ounces, probably 8 ounces, but you're not going to have, you're not going to eat 2 pounds of food.
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about too with the guest etiquette is when you do go through a buffet at a wedding, it's not an all-you-can-eat, take as much as you can fit on your plate buffet, because too many times this season especially, it wasn't you guys, but I specifically remember one wedding where the last 2 tables, 10 tops, so the last 20 guests plus the entire staff, we were all unable to eat because the first people took too much food. And it was just frustrating, like seeing everybody go hungry. And then you look over at the first 5-6 tables and they're just throwing their food away because they're so stuffed and they still have a huge pile of meat on their plate. And I'm like, why would they take that much food?
But what can you really do about that, though, really?
You know, the only thing we do, I can give you an example. This morning we did a breakfast, and today we did a breakfast and a lunch. And the breakfast was a great breakfast, and Scooter provided everybody that they could make their own breakfast burritos. Awesome. So they could have a tortilla, they could have the potatoes and the scrambled eggs and the sausage and bacon. One guy said, I don't want any of that. And so he takes an entire 10-inch plate full of bacon.
Rude.
So I normally we let them serve themselves, but I couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So I just jumped on the line, and when people came through, I gave them 2 or 3 pieces of bacon, and they said, well, can I have another piece? Sure, you can have another piece, and that was fine. But they didn't get a whole plate full because there was just no way.
Well, he probably took like $15 worth of bacon.
Well, it was just too funny. I mean, I'm just going to have bacon today.
Well, that was like me when we were at that NACE meeting down at Cast Iron Studios, and they had the candied bacon. I ate I think 9 pieces.
No way,
And no one pulled you aside and said, excuse me?
No, they had these huge piles of it. There was appetizers, and it was like slabs of bacon. And
that's great.
Were you at that one? Oh, my God. There's photos.
Oh, that's great.
There's pictures. David
great.
Lobin took pictures of me wearing the bacon. So,
well, you know, that same group, later in the afternoon, we fixed barbecue for them, and we had the Carolina style, pulled pork, and then we had the brisket. Well, this is the same guy from a plate of bacon. He just had a plate of brisket.
I'm sure he
I
did.
was ready for him. And he got his plate of brisket, but we had plenty, so I just didn't want to shortchange anybody on the bacon side. You know, it's when that happens to us, and I don't know, it's interesting you'd ask that, because I think I'd want to ask a couple other caterers that we know too. Is it when I see that happen and it looks like it's going to be a pattern, that's usually when I have somebody step in and just take the tongs and help people and serve them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Cindy, we have to go to a commercial break.
Okay.
So
why don't you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, your phone number, your website, the whole 9 yards?
Sure. Well, I'm Cindy, and we are Cindy, Michael, and Scooter of Scooter's Custom Catering.
Marvelous.
We'd love to have you go to our website, which is scooterscustomcatering.com. Our phone number is 206-774-9122.
Thank you so much for being on,
Cindy. Oh, you're very welcome.
And
have a good day.
You too.
I'm going to listen to the rest of the show.
Oh, good.
Great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me my new favorite place to be on Thursdays at 3, from 3 to 4.
We like that.
Okay. Thank you.
And just to let you know, listening, I have done weddings with them that they've had standing ovations over their food.
That's right.
So, without further ado, we are going to hear a word
from our sponsors.
Yes, sir.
Believe it or not, we have them. Hi, everybody. This is Johnny from Viva Productions. I want to tell you a little bit about Elite Limousine. Right now, we have prom specials for 10-passenger stretch limousines, only $90 an hour. That's right, $90 an hour with a 4-hour minimum. 206-542-5733. Go to viva-productions.com for pricing. Hi, everybody. This is Johnny from Viva Productions. I want to tell you a little bit about Vegas nights. Forget about Vegas. I brought casino tables to the Emerald City. Craps, blackjack, roulette, poker. If you're planning a private party, corporate party, senior grad party, any kind of party, you want casino tables, you call 206-542-5733. Vegas nights, that's right. Shake, rattle, and roll.
Brides, do you want your big day to be stress-free, perfect, and stay within your budget? Well, Brides Club has all the inside information to make your dream a reality. Go to bridesclub.com. That's bridesclub.com. See upcoming bridal shows and events, view wedding vendors and special offers. And don't miss The Spotlight, the premier online wedding magazine with valuable articles you can't afford to miss. Brides Club helps make your wedding stress-free and perfect. Go to bridesclub.com. Check out bridesclub.com. Attention business owners. Experience a new world of business with barter. The Saturn Barter Company, located in Tacoma, is one of the most beneficial business decisions you can make. Using Saturn Barter, you are able to sell your products or services to other members of the exchange. You can then use that credit you've built up from your sales to purchase the products or services you or your company needs from other companies within Saturn Barter, all without the use of cash. Contact and join Saturn Barter Club today, 253-212-9930, or online at SaturnBarter.com.
This is Johnny the Gangster with Viva Productions, King of Entertainment, one-stop shop for all your entertainment needs. We have DJ service for weddings, corporate, and private events. Thrill your guests with Vegas Nights Casino Party, blackjack, craps, roulette, poker, and more. We also have event photography and limousine service. Call Viva Productions 206-542-5733 or find us at viva-productions.com. A little less conversation, a little more action, you got it. Call Johnny the Gangster. I'll make you a deal you can't refuse.
Alternative to what? Alternative to everything else out there on the radio. Alternative Talk 1150 AM.
Da-da-da.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Da-da-da.
guys and dolls, cats and
Da-da-da.
chicks, you're listening.
Da-da-da.
Da-da-da. Viva ENT. This is Johnny the Capo. I'm in the studio with Becca Page. I like to call her Becca the Page.
That's me.
Now, it was nice to have Cindy on the show, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. She's so fun to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, real quick, the Don't Be Cruel thing with the Cheap Trick version went to number 4, 1988. You like that version, correct?
I do. Mm-hmm.
And then Presley's Virgin.
Interesting
Version.
concept. Okay.
Presley's Version, 1956. Number 1 for 11 weeks. Smash hit. Changed the world at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Cheap Trick version it's good. It's like same but different.
I think it's very good. I enjoy it a lot, really.
Mm-hmm.
I like the arrangement. I think they did a great job on it.
Yeah. I wish we had could have played the Judd's version of it because that one's pretty good too.
That is
especially
really
with
good.
the female female singing.
Yes, I like the Judds. Always have liked the Judds.
Mm-hmm. And she's got that whole country thing going. Baby, baby. How did they say it? How did she say it?
Who's it?
Baby, baby.
Oh, baby, baby,
Yeah,
baby.
but when the Judds did it, she said,
"Don't be cruel."
You just totally missed that.
They did. You know.
No, the Judds.
I'm saying the Judds.
You're not singing like a Judd. You're singing like Johnny.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
You don't have your girl voice.
I'm so sorry.
No girl voice.
Okay, we have Brad Buckles on the line. Brad?
Yes, you do not sound like Naomi Judd, my friend.
No, I know.
thought
I'm like,
that was-
sound like the Judds. And he's like, don't be cruel. I'm like, no.
I thought it was
You know
Ashley
what
Judd.
I like about it?
Uh.
The best thing I like about it is that you don't sound like Naomi Judd. I can't stand Naomi Judd.
Oh, no kidding.
No, not even want to stand. No,
You talk about Naomi or Winona?
either one of them.
Oh, really?
What about him? I missed that.
You don't.
No.
You don't like the
No.
Judds?
Why don't you like the
Dude.
Judds?
He's not a Judd guy.
What's wrong with the
They're-
Judds?
They're obnoxious. They're overplayed. They're not talented. They can't sing in tune. How you want me to keep going?
Well, I would take that you don't like him.
Not much.
I'm aghast. What? Well, their version of "Don't Be Cruel" is pretty good.
It's not bad.
Elvis's version is better.
Well, because it's his version, you silly.
I'm not silly. I'm just saying I don't like the Judd.
Okay, what'd you think about the Cheap Trick version? Because you're kind of a 1980s type.
I like Cheap Trick, and Cheap Trick kind of has a cheap version of that. It's
Yeah.
nothing really artistic. It's nothing really out there. It's
Wow.
kind of okay. But
It's kind of like a Lou Bega song.
yeah, it's like it's like a cheap coffee.
Yeah, I guess so.
Very interesting, Mr. B.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
If you're going to make a rendition of something, go out there a little bit. Make it yours.
Yeah. Well, let me tell our listeners exactly who you are, Brad. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Brad Buckles on the air. He is the owner of Wedding Expo and BridesClub.com. He produces at least 8 wedding expos per year. And how long have you been in the wedding business now? At least
25 years in January.
25 years. Yeah. And I've pretty much been in the wedding business about 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's very cool.
and then I brought Becky in the wedding business about 3.5 years ago.
Yeah, but I've been doing it for.
Oh, you know weddings. I know that.
I've been doing catering and things like that for weddings for years and years and years.
That's right. And do you happen to know the dates of the January shows off the top of your head?
January 3rd and 4th.
January
That's the
3rd.
Superdome.
Okay.
You can go to bridesclub.com for discount tickets right now as we just made the link live.
Are you doing a 3 for 2?
We are.
Nice.
Available right now as we speak.
You guys, that's the best deal in town because at these wedding expos, the brides always bring their mother and their maid of honor or
That's
matron of
correct.
honor. So it's a perfect little trio package you've got there.
Don't be cruel.
Yep, there's that, or they bring 6 and pay for 4 and bring a fiance or a couple of bridesmaids or a sister, mother, friend.
Uh-huh.
And we have that. And then on the 25th and 26th of January is the Everett Show at
Right.
Comcast Arena. Or I guess it's the new Xfinity now.
Xfinity, right?
Yeah.
And then you're the only wedding expo, not the only, but only major wedding expo that actually does a spring show too.
I am the only wedding expo, because technically we own the name.
Correct.
We have it trademarked and it's copyrighted. And we have run Wedding Expo at the Tacoma Dome now in March for 10 years.
Yeah. That wedding expo at the Tacoma Dome is supreme.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. What I like most about it is how excited the brides are when they first walk in, because brides that come to the January show and the brides that go to the spring show are not the same brides.
No.
Agreed.
So when the brides come in, they are so excited that they just got engaged and it's their show. They're surprised when they find there are other brides at the show as well. Like they know it, they've just never been confronted with it. So it's like July 14th is my date. No, it's not. It's my date.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. When they come up to me and I say, "What's your wedding date?" and they say August 2nd, and I say, "Yeah, that's an extremely popular date, but we do have it open." And then they look at me like, "Are you kidding me? Someone else has my date?" I'm like, "Yeah, about 75 other people in this room. It's August 2nd."
Yeah, it's amazing. If brides or if those who are not in the wedding industry are listening, if they knew how many brides got married on the same Saturday in July, it would probably surprise them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Here's something strange just off the top of my head I've been wanting to ask you for a while, Brad, since you've been to lots of weddings, correct? Mm-hmm. When I'm doing a ceremony and I'm watching all the bridesmaids walk up, how do they determine which order to put them in? Like, I always feel bad for that girl on the very end, especially if there's like 12 of them, because to me it's like, looks like the order of importance of friendship. Is that how they do it, or how do they figure that out?
You know, I have heard different things. I would guess that popularity or friendship length of time is probably a huge consideration. I've also heard that the time that the bride has known the family is a big consideration. So if it's your girlfriend from when you were, born or that you went to school with, chances are you're going to be the matron of honor. And then the second longest or the third longest or the fourth longest relationship will determine kind of how close you are.
Interesting.
I've actually seen height have a lot to do with it. So the tallest one goes in the middle, and the shortest one goes on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I have seen that before, but I just always kind of feel bad for the girls on the end because they're really not that active in the wedding either. They always kind of sit off in their own little corner, and they're just kind of like, "Oh yeah, I'm the 9th bridesmaid."
Well, don't go to Hawaii, because in Hawaii they have wedding parties 20 to 30 people all day long. So if you think the 5th one at the end is busy, or you need to feel bad for her, wait till you go to a Samoan wedding and you're the 15th one out on the end.
Oh wow! The most I've had is I had 18 on each side once, but below that has been 12 a few times. But yeah, 18 once, and it was the most incredible thing. It was at I believe it was at the Murano in Tacoma in the big ballroom. And the head table went along the entire length of the longest part of the rectangle. Like the entire room was all a head table on a riser stage.
But on average, how would you say is the largest length of bridesmaids or the biggest wedding party on average? 5 to 10?
I would say that
eight.
I would say they shouldn't go over 6, but occasionally you do see 8. But I think it's like too much.
Yeah, big one's 8, but
too much.
The average that I see is 4 to 6.
Yeah, 4 to 6.
Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
Yep, and I always notice the bigger the bridal party, that those are the ones that always want the ginormous grand entrances.
Yeah, they seem to like that, don't they?
They do. Yep, they never do a grand entrance for 2 or 3 bridesmaids, but if you got 12 of them, you better get the phonetic spellings down real quick.
Yeah, I hear that.
Mm-hmm. So,
I hear that.
What time? I'm trying to keep track of time here. It's our first show in the studio.
We got all the time. Don't worry about time.
What would
The
you
topic
say is
of
the
today.
trend?
What's the newest trend?
Yeah, what would you say is the new trend coming into 2015?
Oh boy! Well, I'm extremely excited and hoping that the 3D graphic imaging on the cakes takes off big
That's
time.
a big one.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that at the Bellevue show last month, where they had the projectors and the various different images that were projected onto the finished cake. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely something I'd be interested in doing. I know a few DJs who have already got all the software and everything and are doing it on their own, and they're quite successful all over.
You're looking to do it, like to provide it as a service?
Yeah, I'm interested in it. I think it's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay, cool.
I don't know. What else is popular? You know what I'm seeing come back in again when I'm asking my brides for 2015, what are your colors? You know what they're telling me again? Tangerine, hot pink, bright yellow, all together again.
I don't think that's ever gone out.
I love it. That's my favorite scheme for a wedding. I'm also hearing a lot of like deep platinums, dark blues, blacks, reds, so more of a really classy upscale look versus the country chic seems to kind of be going out.
Black, white, and red neo 80s thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And a lot of we're seeing a lot of themed weddings.
Huh.
Yep. We're doing a big in December, a big Renaissance theme wedding, and they're actually having it out at the fairgrounds way down past Olympia, the Thurston County Fairgrounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
And because it just fits their Renaissance theme, everybody's coming in costume. In fact, our DJ and photographers are going to go in costume. Leo. Leo's going in a monk's robe.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a monk.
Yeah. So
I shouldn't say that.
yeah, they're all LARPers, live action role players.
LARPer? What's a LARPer?
Live action role play. Oh. And so it's going to be a total. That's the theme of the wedding. So it's pretty cool. I put Ashley on it. She's the ultimate gamer. So it's a geek wedding. It's a total geek wedding. Groom's a geek, bride's a geek.
Everybody's
totally proud of
geek.
it. Yeah. So
what
it's gonna be
about
fun.
the topic of today, which is ethics? What is it?
No, Brad. The topic that I've picked today, because I feel it actually applies to every single person who's listening to us, is guest etiquette at weddings. And I just kind of made a list, and there are some things that I wanted to touch base with you about for it, because, this is your industry too. I don't think, unless you're really super social and you go to a lot of weddings, I'd say most people attend probably maybe 3 or 4 weddings in their life. A lot of people I meet, even brides and grooms, have been telling me they never go to a wedding. They've never been. Or they went to a cousin's wedding and it was in someone's backyard and it was just, dad cooked some barbecue and they got hitched. So actually going to a real formal wedding, not that many people have had the opportunity to do it, so they don't really know how to behave. And so that's kind of something I wanted to talk about. The first thing I wanted to start out with was when you get the invitation in the mail, obviously you need to RSVP immediately, but some interesting things about it is, like, say if they invite you and a +1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that doesn't mean that if your +1 can't go, that you replace them with somebody else. So say you and Heather got invited to a wedding and you RSVP'd back and said, yes, we'll be there. And then Heather says a couple weeks before the wedding, oh, I can't go. And so then you call up Johnny and you're like, hey, you want to go to this wedding with me? Like, not cool, because the bride and groom are only paying for so many guests and they can only fit so many people there. If you can't bring your guests, let the bride and groom know that they can't come, because they now have that opportunity to maybe ask someone on their secondary list that they can now include, instead of feeding someone that they don't really know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think, if you invite Becca +1, and you originally were going to bring one friend and you now bring another friend, it's still Becca +1. Who you decide to bring as your guest is kind of up to you, isn't it?
So what if they, though, invite, say, you and Heather?
Right.
Specifically. Right. Brad and Heather Buckles, and
right.
Then Heather can't go. Do you feel it's okay for you to bring someone else, or do you feel it's okay to... Because I did a wedding recently where the grooms were really upset because they could only afford to feed 75 people. And then so after the dinner for the rest of the dance party and cake, they had another 100 people coming that they couldn't afford to pay for dinner because it was over $100 a head. And so they were pretty crushed when the people that they had invited, there was a couple of them that brought different guests than the ones that they had invited because they had other people that they wanted to be there that they just couldn't afford to feed. So they were upset that they were feeding someone else.
It's a unique situation. I mean, the bride and groom, for one, thinks that this is really their wedding, and it is. It totally is. But the unknown and forgotten fact is it's a reception held by parents in their honor. The parents have as much say as the bride and groom do in a reception, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the brides have long forgotten that, and in some families it's different than others. But if you invite, Brad and Heather Heather can't make it, Brad is going to bring somebody else, or Brad may not go.
Okay.
So I don't think that the bride can tell somebody, don't bring anybody else. I guess it kind of depends on how close you are with them. I think a bride, if she invites 75 people and has a guest list of 35 plus one, and 2 or 3 other people show up, the bride should be happy that people show up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and then also, if it says Brad and Heather on that invitation, that means that you should bring your children or not?
No.
And you'd be amazed, right, how many people do bring their children with them to weddings unannounced.
Well, it happens because it happens, but I would not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't realize that you have to now pay, the bride and groom or the families now have to pay for those plates for all those kids.
Well, it all goes back to reading your contract. I mean, the facilities aren't doing something without telling you about it. If they sit down with the contract and say, we're going to charge you $100 per person, and per plated meal is $100, then they're not kidding. And they'll count out every single one, and they'll charge you $100 accordingly.
Exactly.
So the brides just have to be able to go back. The couples, the families, the grooms, whoever it is that's putting these contracts together have to go back and remember, this is how many are coming, this is the count, this is the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then moving on, gifts, do you take them to a wedding or do you not? I lately have been seeing a lot of empty gift tables, but people could be mailing them to the brides and grooms instead of bringing a huge gift to the wedding. So what do you say about that?
As far as what's right, or as far as
do you bring a gift with you to a wedding now? Or do you think it's better to have a gift mailed to the bride and groom and not expect them to have to pack up all these presents at the end of their wedding?
It depends on what the bride puts in the invitation. If she says registered at, and that registered at is a company that you can't very easily carry in a small box, then, if she's registered at REI, for example, I might buy something at REI and have it forwarded to her. But I don't feel bad if I walk into the room without something in my hand, no.
Sure, okay. Let's see, arrival time. Says on the invitation, wedding starts at 5 o'clock. What time do people should be arriving?
5 to 10 minutes before 5.
So do they assume automatically the ceremony starts at 5 or the prelude music starts at 5 and the ceremony starts at 5:30?
I can't tell you what people assume nowadays, but if it says be there at 5, I'll be walking in a few minutes before 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, but never after 5 o'clock, correct?
Well, it happens because it's human nature, but I would try not to have it happen to me.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you make sure your cell phone's off. All your electronic devices are off. During the ceremony, traditionally, the bride's side of the family sits on the right, groom's side sits on the left, but a lot of times there's a sign that says, please sit wherever, we're all family.
That's the problem right now or the challenge right now in Seattle is Seattle wants to be a very untraditional market.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, you're not going to find a lot of rules traditionally followed.
Mm-hmm. True.
So it really depends on the couple. It really depends on, how tight they want to be financially or how tight they want to be with the rules and regulations on etiquette. But I would say most of the events that we see, most of the events that we hear about aren't very tight at all. It's much more open.
Very true. We'll have to...
Riley, we got to wrap up. We got about 2 minutes less than. Tell our listeners how they can get a hold of you.
You can go to bridesclub.com. You can go to Facebook, Brad Buckles, or you can go to Twitter, Brad Buckles. I do a lot of tweeting.
You're a tweetaholic.
I am. I'm one of the Twitterati.
Okay, so thanks for being on the show. Well, we're going to have you back on for sure. We're going to actually feature you in your own special segment every week, as long as you're willing to do it.
Yep, we'll talk with you soon.
Now,
I can't wait for it.
We got about 30 seconds here. You're listening to Johnny the Capo. I'm here with Becca the Page, my co-host. You can like us at Viva Productions King of Entertainment, and the first one to do so today
On Facebook.
On Facebook.
Viva Productions King of Entertainment.
On Facebook. Thank you so much. The first one that likes us today
And posts something about hearing the show.
correct, is going to get a 3-hour limousine ride, complimentary from Elite Limousine. How you like that?
Awesome. In the greater Seattle area.
Greater Seattle.
Pretty
Bellevue.
cool. All right, guys, get on Facebook. Do your thing right now.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to our first show
Yes.
here in Bellevue
Thank you so
on
much.
Viva ENT.
I appreciate it.
I'm Becca the Page. This is Johnny the Capo. We'll dig you now and see you later
Because you're a fine,
fine.
sweet potato.
That's right, baby. Bye-bye.